Welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. It's a cool morning here in the Yarra Valley, so I am wearing some knitwear today. This is Quiet Stars by Hohi Locatelli that I finished in June of 2019. And it's a cardigan that I really love. It's an open flowing cardigan with a really pretty detail down the front, and it's super comfortable to wear. So on a day like today, it's an easy piece to put on over the top and just keep a little bit cozier down here in the shed, especially before I have my fire ready. So it is very much turning into that early winter, autumn feel around here. The mornings are extremely misty and foggy. We kind of get closed in most mornings, and then the sun does break through and we end up having reasonably warm, nice days. But then as soon as the sun goes down, you get that chill back in the air, which is lovely for sleeping. So as much as we missed out on a warm summer, I'm not actually that much of a fan of hot weather. So it's nice to be back into this more comfortable sort of feel for me. So cooler evenings and cooler mornings, but still some really lovely days. So cooler days has prompted some different farm work. We are back to collecting firewood because it's on our mind that very soon it will be cold enough to be having the fire going at least during the evenings, if not most of the day. And with my new fire being put in here soon, we will need more firewood than we have before. So this past weekend we went out and we collected a whole trailer load of firewood from out in our bush. We used to just be able to put it into the back of the Hilux, which was quite hard work. You had to throw it up and in, and then when you came back you had to get it out and down from there again. So now we have a trailer that we can attach to the back instead, and everything's at easier ground level, so you can just easily throw it on, and then we can just park the trailer somewhere, cover it, and then we can grab the wood directly from there or easily move it to split it and store it somewhere else. So I collected a whole lot of kindling which went into the back of the Hilux, and Adam did all of the chainsawing, and then together we loaded everything onto the trailer. So that will start to be a fairly regular job. It's not something that you can do in the heat of summer. It's just way too hot. And there's the risk of finding snakes in your logs and all that kind of thing. So we just steer clear of doing that during the heat of summer. But now that it's cooler, it's a job that we can start to get done regularly. My main focus this week has been on getting my wood fire heater cleaned and restored as much as I can. So I started by just brushing as much of the just loose dust off it as I could and wiping it down, and it was really grotty. I ended up with dirt all over my hands, literally stuck everywhere, and I think I still have dirt under my fingernails. It's just taking forever to get out. So I did that first process of brushing loose stuff off and getting rid of cobwebs and all of that. Then I took all of the extra bits off it, anything that was screwed on, so the bit with the vent at the top, and took off the door. And then gave it a really good sand, back with some really fine sandpaper. It was quite rusty, so just to get rid of all of that sort of surface flaky rust and get it back to being a smooth surface. So I did that. Then wiped it down again, and then I have painted it with 2 coats of a pot belly paint, and it's come up looking amazing. It could almost be new where you look at it. It's such a change from when I first got it, and I think it's going to look really great. I need to put everything back on now. I need to put a new seal rope in around the glass. And I need to decide too if I'm going to potentially add some new fire bricks in for insulation inside. It's got some in already, but it probably needs some up the side, so I just have to sort of figure that out. I might even have a fire with it and see how it goes, and then I can always add those in later. So it's amazing how with a little bit of work but not a lot, and not a lot of time either. It's gone from looking like this old rusty thing to a beautiful little wood fire, which I'm really excited to now get installed once I've done those last few little jobs. Not sure whether we're going to do it ourselves or get someone to do it. My first job though will be to actually remove the carpet tiles from the area that I want to put it in to expose the concrete so that it's a nice surface and heat resistant, so that we don't have, you know, sparks and everything getting onto the carpet. And then once I've done that, we will then know where it's going to go, and I don't know, make a call on whether we would attempt it ourselves or whether we just go ahead and get someone in to do it professionally. And I figure with exposing the concrete, I could get a half, but exposing the concrete matches in with how I've got some carpeted areas, and then over by my workbench is just bare concrete. So I think it will work, rather than adding an extra sort of texture or feature that is different from what's already here in the shed. I want to keep it fairly simple and rustic. So I updated the shop this past week with my Wonka mini skein sets, perfect for Easter gifts. Here is the package there. You can see all of the colours. So this past week I did dye up Golden Ticket to finish out the set, as well as doing a new experimental dye, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I've got all the little tags on the back so you can see all of the names, and that gives you a really good view of all of the colours there as well. So there's still a few of these left in the shop, and there is time before Easter to get these out. So if you're interested, go check that out. There's a link in the bio below. In each one of those packs there's 462 meters of yarn. It's 6 skeins of 20 grams each, so there's plenty of yarn there to do a lot of little mini skein projects. Good boy. Alright, Wade decided he wanted to join me. So I did a little experiment with an idea for a new colour this week. It will potentially be a joint project with a knit teacher for a class that she is planning. I've sent her some photos and a bit of an idea of what I was thinking when I came up with the design. Haven't heard back from her yet, so I'm not sure if she's still going ahead with this particular class that she was thinking about. If she doesn't, I think I will release it as a colour myself, because it has turned out the way I sort of had it in my head, and I really like it, and it's knit up really well. So I would like to carry it as a colour if she's not going to use it for her special classes. So let me show you. It doesn't have a name yet. It does depend on whether it gets used for this class or not. So it's a grey background with splashes of green and blue and yellow and purple through it. There's a few spots where it might have turned a little bit brown, but overall it is those colours. And I knit up quite a bit because I wanted a really good sample to be able to show what it's going to look like. So there it is there. You can see the little pops of the yellow and the purple and blue and green as they come through, but the majority of the sock is grey. So that was a fun one to create. I sort of looked up some psychology of colour and figured out how I wanted to blend those together to get the result that I ended up with. So I'll let you know if I end up stocking it myself and what I end up calling it, or I will let you know where you can find out about this this class and the yarn that this particular teacher might be using it for. So stay tuned for details in the next few weeks, hopefully. So clearly I did a lot of work knitting on that little sock sample of the new grey and speckled colour. So that took up quite a lot of my knitting time, But I did make some really good progress on my Mauri Tau pullover. It is so close to being finished now. I am, let me get it out, now working on the purple stripes on the end of the body. It actually isn't as long as the pattern called for. Obviously I must have a short torso or something because it's a lot less than what the pattern called for, but I tried it on and I measured it against a couple of the other jumpers that I find quite comfortable, and this is going to be a good length for me. So I'm on my 4th purple stripe now, so I've got one more purple stripe after this, and then the cuff, which will end up being the same length as the sleeve cuff, and then it will be finished. So I would hope that by next week I will have a completely finished, ends woven in jumper. And then maybe I can look at starting a new one. I have been dreaming about other projects, but I've been really wanting to get this one finished. I did do a little bit more spinning on my kaleidoscope box, up to sort of a bright bluey green color, and I think I've got now maybe 2 or 3 little sections left of the first half, and they go into sort of more of a dark blue and a black. Then I'll start all over again on the second half. I'm still enjoying it, so I think I just gotta do it in little bits and take some breaks. And now having a second wheel down here in the shed, I can kind of, if I want to change things up, I don't have to take it off the bobbin. I can just come down here and spin on my Melba as well, which I have been doing. I just grabbed some fluff that I had. I'm not even sure what it was exactly. It was out of the packaging, just in my big tub of fibre. So I've been spinning that down here. It's a light green, and it's been really enjoyable to play on the different wheel, and still very much I'm learning, but to have that option while I'm doing things, sort of, you know, if I'm waiting for a colour to exhaust in the dye or for something to upload on the computer, I can just take a few minutes and just pop a little bit on and do it while I'm down here in the shed as well. So I have just been playing around with the furniture a little bit, and I think with the introduction of the fire, I sort of will need to rearrange things a little bit more. It will be quite close to where I'm sitting here, and so I might need to readjust my recording position a little bit maybe. And I've moved the spinning wheel so that it is by the sliding doors, so I have a really nice view of outside while I spin, and I've brought over a little stool that I bought a little while ago with the specific purpose of having that down here. So I'll sort of gradually change how things work here. I think now that I'm using the space a lot more, I kind of know the ways that I like to walk around and how things are starting to work, and where I am recording, where I'm taking photographs, where I sit when I'm doing stuff on the computer, sometimes at the desk, sometimes on the couch. So it's sort of a gradual process of just slightly moving things around to make them more comfortable. And having said that, it was a priority for me to get the spinning wheel out of the sort of dark corner where I had it near the cupboard, to bring it into a spot where I could enjoy the view, and I'll be able to enjoy the fire and have a nice spot to spin down here in the shed. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.